The Honourable Deputy Opposition Leader.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I rise to ask a few series of questions, not just as a Deputy Opposition Leader, but the district where I come from. I'm affected, and I share the border of Indonesia. Mr. Deputy Speaker, my question before I ask the series, I would want to give a context to the issues, so to the Prime Minister. So let me give a context of the issue that we face as a province and as a country. Then I would ask my series of questions. Mr. Deputy Speaker, for decades, PNG government has chosen silence on West Papua. Despite killings, despite displacement, and despite minimum of 15,000 refugees crossing into my district in Western and Sandaun Provinces. And current government is quick to speak on conflicts thousands of kilometers away in Middle East, Europe, where PNG has no border, no refugees, and no direct security implications. Mr. Deputy Speaker, furthermore, the situation in West Papua constitutes clear breaches of UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, the UN Charter, and the fundamental disciplines of international laws. Papua New Guinea's continued inaction and silent risk being interpreted internationally as tacit endorsement of these violations. Mr. Deputy Speaker, on the 5th of November, Australian Senator Lydia Tope called out the region's hypocrisy on West Papua, calling out the Albanese government, just like past governments, remaining silent and complicit, allowing the atrocities to continue with impunity and even providing military equipment to Indonesia. But here in the parliament of the country, most directly affected with blood ties to fellow West Papuans, this government refuses to say even a single word or take the lead in advocating for West Papua self-determination at international forums, including the UN General Assembly. Mr. Deputy Speaker, that is not neutrality, that is fear. And it undermines our dignity as Melanesians. I stand this morning as a Melanesian man with a black skin here in this honorable house, just as the Prime Minister whom I'm asking, I raise this to whom he calls himself Las Papua from Atari district where he comes from. Estimates to date shows over 5,000 West Papuans have lost their lives fighting for their identity, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Their land, their lives since 1960s, and it is happening right on and across our border. 500,000. How many more lives should be lost before we take the matter seriously, Mr. Deputy Speaker? The Prime Minister, apart from our non-actions being a blatant neglect of human rights violation, this is also a regional security issue where Indonesians military have intruded into PNG territory that we must address to maintain peace in the region. My questions are, there are 4 questions. Number 1, Mr. Deputy Speaker, why is PNG government willing to issue statements on wars in distant regions, but refuses to address the clear breaches of UN DRIP, the UN Charter, the international law occurring in West Papua, including the killings, displacement, and allowing refugees crisis unfolding directly on our border? Question number 2, Mr. Deputy Speaker, what exactly is the government afraid of? And why can't we establish a parliamentary committee or inquiry into what is clearly a matter involving serious human rights violations, potential crimes under international law, and the security of our own citizens in the border provinces. Question number 3, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Is this silence truly foreign policy, or is it submission to Indonesia? If PNG claims to uphold the UN Charter, UN DRIP, and international human rights law, why can it not even allow this parliament to examine an issue directly affecting our sovereignty, our borders, our security, and our fellow Melanesian people? Question number 4 and the last. Mr. Deputy Speaker, given the government's refusal to acknowledge ongoing breaches of UN DRIP, the UN Charter, the international law in West Papua, can the Prime Minister confirm whether PNG's foreign policy is now effectively outsourced to Jakarta? If not, will Prime Minister commit today on the floor of this House to establish a full parliamentary inquiry into West Papua, or admit to the nation that we are unwilling to uphold even the most basic human rights obligation of a Melanesian identity and international commitment? Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, for the series of questions asked by the Deputy Opposition Leader and the member for Northfly. Mr. Deputy Speaker, in the first 8 years of my life, I lived in his electorate and the electorate next door, which is a telephone electorate. In my life living there, from 1972 to 79, I spent years in a refugee camp, so I understand clearly. In between that, with my old man, we move in and out of refugee camps. I do understand clearly what he's saying, and I do understand where he's coming from. I want to give assurance to this country and to Indonesia and to West Papua and to all Melanesia that when it comes to Melanesian human rights, James Marape or Pangulet government or anyone for that matter will always advocate for Melanesian human rights. And I want to say in his question, paraphrase in I think question 3, question 4, are we scared or are we outsourcing our foreign policy to Jakarta? Far from it, there is no element of scared. What's the English word? There's no element of, we're not scared. English is not my best language. I'm trying to get the right words connected. There's no element of fear. There's no scaredness on our part in respect to the issue of West Papua to be addressed, especially from the context of human rights. I want to offer counsel to all of us. Sovereignty issues is different from human rights issues. Sovereignty is a different matter. We respect the full sovereign integrity of the Republic of Indonesia. But when it comes to human rights matters, if I can, through you to the Deputy Speaker, to Deputy Opposition Leader, if I could summarize his 4 questions in my reply, all in all. There is no element of scaredness to Indonesia. There is no element of control in respect to our foreign policy by Indonesia. We respect the United Nations Charter in respect to defining sovereign territories. Papua New Guinea, as it was at 1975, since we established bilateral relations with Indonesia up till today, has not changed in our foreign policy outlook in respect to sovereign integrity of Indonesia. Mind you, Papua New Guinea ourselves, we have a test of sovereignty running as we speak to the Bougainville issue. So we have the test of sovereignty running through the Bougainville issue. We have no moral legs to talk about other nations' sovereignty. But I want to point to the human rights issue that I think was the major gist of the Deputy Opposition Leader's question, which is a right question, by the way, in respect to human rights that may happen within our doorsteps. And I want to give assurance to all Melanesians. At all forums I am presented. As a Melanesian leader, I advocate for human rights of Melanesia. Whether it's Pacific Island Forum nations, whether it's MSG, whether it's United Nations, and not just a public forum like this, at different forums that I attend, meeting rooms, medias, and parliaments or chambers like this. And I want to give assurance to...
You have a point of order, Honorable Prime Minister.
We respect and understand that the Prime Minister on a personal level makes commitments. I think the question from the Deputy Opposition Leader is in relation to government policy, not the Prime Minister's personal feelings on the matter. Thank you.
Honorable Governor, I think the Prime Minister is still in reply, so to take note of that. Allow the Prime Minister to reply.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, the good governor for his speaks pointers are noted. In the personification of myself, I hold my views and the government's views together in the office I occupy. Mr. Deputy Speaker, and as I relate, this embodies our government's view. Firstly, foreign policy has not been altered in respect to Indonesian sovereignty. Secondly, our commitment to human rights values is maintained. If any atrocities happen in West Papua, we have every right to speak, and I want to inform this House. I thank President Prabowo. His first visit after being elected into office or pronounced elected as a president in waiting, he chose to visit Australia, and Port Moresby came here, made a bilateral visit with me. In our meeting, one-on-one and collective meeting, it was expressed. And sometimes it pays to sit and listen first before hastily jumping on your feet. Because some meetings take place you're not privy of. But the Prime Minister has attended those meetings. And in those meetings, we do outlay what is our position. President Prabowo, as well as President Widodo, where I said in my 6 years of being Prime Minister, the privilege of working with President Widodo and now President Prabowo, they've been informed clearly our concerns on human rights. To our Melanesian brothers in West Papua, James Marape, this Pangu-led government, and this country, including the opposition leader who asked, the deputy opposition leader who asked this question, as a concern on human rights on the other side. I want to tell this Parliament, we are never silent on human rights issues. In all diplomatic channels, whether through lodgement at United Nations, or at PIF conversations or MSG, or bilateral with Indonesia, human rights issues in respect to Melanesian people are always relayed. President Prabowo has given me assurance that human rights issues should be looked at. In the PIF meeting I attended in 2019, August 13 to 16 it was, that PIF meeting, a resolution was passed. Again, PNG, in the construct of the text, verbatim of the resolution, we contributed in that meeting substantially. Our contribution goes to this space, not just affirm human rights issue, but look at the cost of the human rights issues. Look at the cost of the human rights issues. Member will not fly. Member Lotari Senabantri talk. We got to treat it diligently with respect to the sovereignty, but preserving our people's right to exist, right to their land, right to their culture on the other side. And that has been clearly expressed in one-on-one bilateral meetings, in nation-to-nation bilateral meetings, and of course, the maintenance of our government policy since 1975. In case we forget history, it was a Pangu Party policy in 1975, and we maintain up till today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.